na 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 na
Square
na
round
na.
You know, you need to tune in if you want to hear So we Chad, Josh, Dmitri, and Marcus every Friday.
It's the Square Round Table.
Tune in.
It's the Square Round Table podcast. Tune in every Friday. Let's have a blast. I know at work you had a long day. Just relax and tune in.
Make sure you tune in weekly, every Friday. MajorsOnMusic.com. We also tune on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. So yeah.
Hey, what's going on, my freaks and geeks? We're the Square Roundtable Podcast. I really want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Listen, guys, tonight we have a very special guest. Our guest is nothing short of a legend. He is responsible for voicing so many memorable characters over his career, including Lord Death from Soul Eater, All for One from My Hero Academia, and my personal favorite, Von Hohenheim from Full Metal Alchemist. Hey. Guys, please give it up for Mr. John Swasey. What's going on, John?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that kind and wonderful introduction.
You're welcome. And like I said, we talked a little bit about this before, but I just named all of these characters. All of these are amazing characters. So the fact that you haven't been invited to Dragon Con yet is a major problem.
Yeah, it needs to be fixed like immediately. Like, we need to get on that.
Maybe they think that I'm just untouchable.
Yeah, probably. I think so. They're just like, he's going to say no anyway. So let's just not
even try it.
Dude, I tell you what, all they got to do is give me a warm bed and I'll be in Atlanta in a heartbeat. I love Atlanta, man. I went to college in Tennessee and I used to go down to Atlanta all the time, and my best friend lived there for a while. I love Atlanta. There's nothing wrong with Atlanta. And it happens to be, what I really love about Atlanta now, man, that's the Mecca now. If you want to be an actor,
certainly, yeah.
Forget LA, man, you go to Georgia.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Cause is it this the headquarters for like Cartoon Network, stuff like that. And it's a whole lot of stuff. Turner.
Let me tell you something, man. Cartoon Network, if I had everything in my life to do over again, first of all, I would have bought a winning lotto ticket. But other than that, man, because I went to school in Tennessee, and I would have left Tennessee and gone straight to Atlanta and tried to get a job at Cartoon Network, sweeping floors or cleaning toilets or whatever, because at least you're in the building and you have access to the people that can make decisions.
Yeah,
I think that's how, and his name escapes me. I've been drinking too much. The guy that did Frisky Dingo and does Archer.
Yeah, exactly. Frisky Dingo. Okay, so that's how he got started.
I think that's how he got it, because he was just there doing something, and they needed something at 1 a.m. programming. Wow. He came up with something, and so he got his in that way. And it's huge. You're in the building. You've got your foot in the door, literally. But
exactly.
That being said, I wouldn't change anything, really. I've had a very blessed, very fortunate career. I've met some amazing people and gotten to work with some great folks and gotten to do something that not many people have done. And I don't know how clean your show is, but I've gotten to party with Willie on his bus. I'll put it that way.
Hey,
that's what's up.
That's
okay,
cool.
Okay. Hey, look, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong at all.
Man.
Yeah, like you said, something a lot of people never get the chance to experience. I'm sure that's crazy,
right?
When I die and go to heaven, and they go, anybody that's ever partied with Willie on the bus, go to this side. I get to go over there.
Exactly.
I'm over that way.
Yeah,
that's what's up. That's
amazing.
But and that's what I wanted to know, just getting started, because you talked about like earlier on in your career what you would have done and what you did. I just want to know, like, how did you get started in voice acting, period? And was it dubbing that you started in, or?
So yeah, thumbnail, Reader's Digest version. I was about 15 years old, and I went to New York with my parents, and I saw a Broadway musical called Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And it was the original cast, and it was a huge night. And we had great seats in the orchestra, and the cast came down off the stage and was in the orchestra amongst the people. And it was electrifying. And I left the show. I bought an album. It was an LP, vinyl. That's what it was back then. The soundtrack. And on the rest of the trip, our family was on. Every time I could get near a record player, my parents were having drinks with the adults. And I was like, I'm just going to be in here with the record player. When I listened and I wore it down. And I told my parents, I want to be an actor, man. This is what I want to do with my life. So I came home, got involved in theater in high school and college in Tennessee, and got a degree, and then came back to Houston and worked with some doing sketch comedy, like at a comedy club, like Saturday Night Live stuff, sketch comedy, everything and all that, and met Sam Kinison and Janine Garofalo and Bill Hicks and these legends of comedy. And I was like, man, I'm in the right zone, and started doing some film work and commercials. And I was like, oh man, I'm right where I want to be. And then one day somebody goes, hey man, you got a great voice. Do you want to do a commercial? I was like, sure. So they asked me to do a Bill and Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure commercial.
That's sick.
That's
So
awesome.
I did that. And they were like, here's your check. And I looked at my check and I was like, I didn't even take a shower today. Oh, hell yeah. I'm into voiceover now.
That's what's up.
I started voiceover, and then I really put my eggs in that basket. I still did some film work. I did a movie that y'all may have heard of called Dazed and Confused on Ray, worked on 8 Seconds, a couple of nice things, small parts, but nonetheless, I'm a part of it and it's cool. But voiceover really was my deal. And I was doing commercials and stuff like that. And about 1997, I was doing a comedy act with a friend of mine, and our opening act was this guy named Jason Lee. And he goes, dude, you ought to do this thing called anime. And I'm like, what's anime? And he goes, Japanese animation. And I'm like, well, I don't speak Japanese, man, so I don't really see how I could do it. He goes, no, idiot. We dub it into English. It's like, oh. So there happened to be a company here in Houston called ADV Films. I went over and auditioned, had the worst audition of my life.
Oh,
I mean, I looked like a complete idiot. So little sidebar here. Lesson to all you actors, wannabes, whatever. I don't care how bad your audition is. If you really want it, you go back in and ask to do it again, which is what I did. And then I ended up kicking some ass and got a show called Golden Boy in 97, I think, and just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And as that company grew, I grew with it. And within 4 or 5 years, it became the #1 distributor of anime in North America. And then about 2000, maybe 2003, I started directing, started working for another little company in Texas called Funimation. And with them was Full Metal Alchemist. And I played, some random characters. But it was like being in the right place at the right time. Fast forward, to today, and Texas is the #1 producer of anime in North America. We produce more. The only country that produces more than us is Japan. And it's been a glorious ride, man. But if you would have told me in 1987, when I graduated from college with my degree in theater and walking out the door, like, here I come, world, that you're going to make your mark in a thing called anime, I was like, what the F are you talking about, dude? No. But also, I think a caveat to that is that one of the reasons that it's such a big deal is several. But the convention world has really cultivated more fans. You guys doing your podcast has cultivated more fans, more interest. And the fact that you've got anime, Star Wars, and MCU, and those worlds are colliding.
Yes, big time.
Yeah.
You go to an anime con and you're going to see Spider-Man and Darth Vader, I guarantee you.
Yeah, 100%.
Guaranteed.
And so that in and of itself has just created this giant world. My son is a huge anime fan, but he loves everything about Star Wars and everything about the MCU. And it's just, dude, if you put an inkling of this in your school life, you'd be brilliant. But he's a good.
That's awesome.
Right now, you sound like my parents.
A life story.
Parents.
Right.
That's definitely awesome. Speaking of that, have you done a lot of pandemics? Have you done a lot of conventions since the pandemic? Like over?
No, I did a couple. I did Comic Palooza here in Houston over Zoom. That was good. And I did a couple of them last year. And I did a couple of in-person ones. I did 4 in-person ones last year. I did 2 in Florida and 2 in Texas. But I must say that all 4 shows were done very well. The safety measures that were taken were off the charts, and I felt very comfortable. And I was tested before and after, and I was fine. But they did things like there was definitely 6 feet between you and somebody wanting your autograph. Guys are everywhere. Everybody had to wear a mask. If you didn't wear a mask, you were booted out. End of story. Not only booted out, I think you were like, and you're banned from the shows because it came down. Y'all heard that thing about, was it Tom Cruise that flipped out on set?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I heard
I
about
sure
that.
did.
Yeah.
It's that same deal, man, where it's, look, we're trying to do this, but if you don't follow the rules, you mess it up for everybody.
Certainly.
And it's the same way. So I felt very comfortable and very good about it. And then I put on a show called Anime Dallas that we did in December of last year. And I was just talking to my partner, and I was like, oh man, I was like, we got this. It's very safe. Instead of having 5,000 people, we're going to have 700 people. We're going to be able to separate, distance, all this stuff. You wouldn't believe the stuff I caught online. Maybe you would, but it was just like, I'm a murderer. It was brutal. It was brutal. And the thing is, the people that were saying that weren't there. They didn't see. We had the hotel, we had the city of Grapevine, we had everybody going, dude, y'all have gone above and beyond what was expected, and nobody got sick, and the vendors were happy, and everyone that was there was happy, and it was a good time, but it was a safe time. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think we could have done it safely, and we did. But at the end of the day, if I had to do it again, I wouldn't do it, because it's unfortunate, but the vitriol that can be spewed on social media seems to ring louder than the truth sometimes. So it is what it is. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now, but it just, anyway, but it was all,
no, it happens. Like, I appreciate you, because we talked about that a little bit before, just you wanted to take care of the other person. You wanted to make sure that people are safe, and you want to celebrate people, have a good time, but still want to do it in a safe manner. We always applaud that here. I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
I appreciate you saying that, man. That means a lot. It really does. Ever since the get-go, you got the idiots that think this is a hoax, and you've got on this side the people that think if they walk outside that Corona is just going to rain down on them somehow. It's
smart.
Just be smart.
Just have common sense, man. It's not that bad. It's really not, man.
That's it. Just have common sense, but definitely at the end of the day, like John, we for sure, like I'm gonna write a petition. Like all of us, we're getting you. To Dragon Con in Atlanta.
And we're getting you into SatCon too, because you ain't been there either. So we getting you all around.
Yes.
Oh, dude,
we're gonna plug you in.
I'm in.
Awesome. And one thing I wanted to ask, because you were talking about like you doing like comedy clubs and stuff like that. How did you? What was the premise of? Was it PC Cowboys? Is that what it was?
Yeah. So the PC Cowboys was a politically correct country and western band. And y'all may be too young to know this, but we had a president named Bill Clinton who was all about being politically correct and all this stuff. And born out of this thing called the PC Cowboys. Well, as most cowboys are anything but politically correct.
Yeah.
We created this thing, and we came up with a couple albums. We toured, did a little part. We did Willie's Picnic one year, and we just had a blast. I did it for about 9 years, and then I just ran out of steam. But it was a lot of fun. Came out with some CDs, which are available on iTunes. But we did songs like we were very politically correct, and we didn't ride horses or anything like that, or we just walked with the cattle on a cattle drive right next to them and shoot them along and everything. But one time we were headed to a gig. We were these characters from Bridge City, Texas. And one time we left Bridge City, headed to Florida, and our truck broke down in the Pacific Northwest. It turns out we were drinking and had the map upside down, and we weren't in Florida. We were in Idaho.
Oh, my goodness.
Drinking Idaho when it's upside down, look Florida. we didn't make our gig, but we did write a song called Idaho. And the first line is, Idaho, but I lost her to a welder named Foster. She broke my big old heart in two. So anyway.
Hey,
wow, that's cool. That's pretty cool. Because when I heard about that, I'm like, I gotta figure out what is like PC Cowboys. I'm like, that's if you're gonna name a band, That's the coolest name you could pick. Like, that's what's up. And I'm a country fan too, so I'm just like,
we cut 2 records, man, or 2 CDs, and we had some really good pickers on them. Me and my partner that did it, we're terrible musicians, but we had some really good players. And you got to check it out. You can find it on iTunes, man. It's some fun stuff. But the show was also, it was not just music. It was interaction. We had stories. We were these characters. We were made up characters. It wasn't John Swasey up there. My name in the band was Toomey Starks. And Toomey Starks, actually, if you leave Texas and you head east towards Georgia on I-10 and you pull into Louisiana, the first exit is Toomey Starks. There's 2 towns. One's called Toomey and one's called Starks. So that's how I got my
that's
name.
what's up.
That's cool.
That's what's up. So we're definitely we're gonna definitely let our viewers and listeners know. We'll put it in the description below. Definitely, guys. Y'all gotta go on iTunes, check out some PC Cowboys. 100%.
100%.
That's good stuff.
Right.
But
So
I wanted to ask you, because you've been in like voice acting and dubbing for a while. So I wanted to know, like, how has that, like, I guess, career path changed since you started? And do you think it's a lot harder to get into voice acting these days, or a little bit easier? Like, how do you view it?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I would say yes, it is harder to get into it because there's so many people now that want to do it. When I started doing it, you were very graciously and complimentary about my resume. But one of the reasons that it's so long is because back when I started, there just weren't that many people doing it. So yet somebody like, I need Todd Habercorn is going to be the main dude. John, you're going to be this guy and this guy. And the same with Chris Sabbath. I need you to be this guy. So we would all wear multiple hats and play multiple characters and do, all kinds of stuff. While the resume looks impressive in length, a lot of that is just Soldier B and Man One and whatever on. And then when ADV was really cooking, we had 5 studios running from 9 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night.
Oh.
And there were 2 shifts. So you'd get 9 to 4 and then 4 to 10. And so you could come in at 9 o'clock in the morning and work for one director for 2 hours, then go across the hall, work for another director, then go to lunch, come back after lunch and work for this director, then go home for 2 hours and then come back at 4 o'clock and work for that director and then go across the hall, work for that director. The actors were making $400 or $500 a week just being voice actors,
Wow.
which is not a bad deal. It's not commercial money. Commercial money is where the real money. This is non-union animation, but it was busy, and it was glorious. So we were just working all the time. But now so many people have gotten into it that it's just, I don't need John to be 25 guys. I'd be one guy because I've got 25 other actors that are willing to do it. Now, the tricky thing is with like budgets and stuff like that. You don't want to have to spend a bunch of money just to have somebody come in and do one line. But it's still, that's part of the problem is that there's just so many people wanting to do it. Now, that being said, man, I will tell you, there are a lot of new kids that are coming in that are great. Ryan McKeon is one that I've been working with on a show called Two Love Rue, and he's great. He's got that young teenager sounding voice, and he's 20 something. I don't know, but he's great, and he's super duper. And there's different systems that we use in the anime dubbing world. For instance, up at Funimation, they use what we call the beep system, where the line's coming up and you hear a series of beeps. It goes beep, and then you speak on that 4th beep, but you hear it. But that's your cue. At Sentai down here in Houston, we do the chase method, where you get a 3-second pre-roll. You just look up at the time code and go, okay, here comes my line. And the minute the second you hear your character speaking, you speak. But because everything's digital now, you don't have to be. The beep system was when it was all tape, analog tape. But now that it's digital, I could wait 5 seconds and then start speaking, and the engineer just slides the file over and puts it in place. Yeah, and one's not better than the other. And I'm not trying to imply that Funimation is in archaic mode or anything like that. It works just fine. They're just different. It's Pfizer versus Moderna, or whatever.
Right. That's a good one, yeah.
Right. But yeah, John, is recording commercials the same,
or similar to voice acting in anime, or is it different?
Oh, wow. That's a great question, dude. I have never had that question ever. Thank you. I mean that very sincerely. No. So doing a commercial is more like doing prelay animation, where you're laying down the audio first and they're going to build around it. So in a commercial, now if it's a radio spot, you're going to lay down the audio and then they're going to add in music and sound effects and edit and all that. But the base is your audio. If you're doing a TV spot, it's the same way, but they might have some pictures and stuff that you want to play off of or state. I need you to say this line in 5 seconds, and then this line has got to be in 4 seconds, and blah blah blah. And then they'll still build around your voice. That's where it goes. In prelay animation, it's the same way. You record it, and then they're going to animate around your dialogue so they can make sure it's right. And what we do in anime, which is called ADR, which is audio dialogue replacement, we're actually just dubbing in something to pre-existing animation. Really what we're doing is no different than the old Chinese or Japanese movies that were dubbed.
The karate movies and stuff, right?
Yeah, except we take a lot more care with it. And there's a lot more forgiveness in animation because it's a lip flap as opposed to a mouth movement. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what language, everything is just like this. So I can keep talking and will work. But with actual humans, living people, it's words come out and sometimes the mouth doesn't move a whole lot and you don't really, so it's a little trickier. But anyway, so commercials are, you usually have a lot more freedom with commercials because you get to do something and they're going to build around it. With animation, you're in a box. You're in that box of what is already animated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sure. Is that a tough career path to get into also these days? Commercial more so than dub?
Either one is really not a tough career path. It's just what a lot of people don't get. With dubbing, I think you get a lot of people that just want to just get into voiceover for anime and dubbing.
Right.
And what they don't really understand is that nobody does just anime dubbing. There's just not enough money. You could do it if you could get by on $200 or $300 a week, if that. But there's just not enough money in it. So really everybody that really works is a very diversified actor as far as their portfolio of work. And they do a lot of stuff. They do commercials, but the one thing about it too is, have you ever heard that Hollywood story where an actor will do a blockbuster, super high intense action movie and make $10 million or whatever it is? But they do that so they then can do either art house films that don't pay much but have a lot of as an actor, or they can go off to Detroit and start their own little theater and just do theater there and really get their acting fill from that. But then they have to go back and do another big blockbuster and get more fun this other stuff.
Like the big Marvel movies and stuff like that. And then they go do the real stuff.
And not to fight any of the actors, but you're not doing Shakespeare on the screen there. You're just told to go, and that makes you a lot of money. But by doing that, then can go off and have your little theater in whatever, Dalton, Georgia, and next to the carpet store, have a theater.
Right. So you could do like your passion project. Basically, so that funds your passion project, basically.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
You do a regular job, whatever, but you're doing that, and then you have your side project you're doing on the other side, and you're funding your side project through your regular job.
That makes sense.
That is exactly right, man.
But that's such a crazy concept because you would think it's the other way around. But from what you're saying, back when you guys first started, it seemed like you were like making a lot, or it was a lot more lucrative back then compared to how it is now in anime dub. That's crazy.
I say it was very lucrative. It's always been okay. Nobody's ever gotten rich dubbing as a voice actor. Now, I will say, that being said, where a lot of money is in video games and things like that, where
I didn't know that. Okay.
Instead of making $75 an hour, you're making $200, $250 an hour. Yeah, that can be. But it takes its toll because a lot of video games, like I did Borderlands 2 and I played Salvador. And while that was great, Salvador talks like this. And it's just after 2 hours of doing that, I got blood coming out of my mouth, man. It's just,
Oh,
it's
man.
Darn.
brutal.
Oh.
And that there was a big to do. I wasn't part of it because I live in Texas, but there was a big to do about it in LA, man. LA voice actors were like, dude, we got to get more money, man. You can't make us scream like this. This is just, you're physically harming us. And it just can't happen. And you don't want to be somebody that's so hungry for work. I'll do it. I'll stick a knife in my eye. I don't care. It's no, come on now.
Yeah, because I guess you end up blowing out the instrument that you're using for the job in the first place.
Exactly it. Nail on the head, brother. That's exactly it.
That's crazy.
And the one thing about voiceover also, I just pass this along, unsolicited advice. The one thing about voiceover that anybody that wants to get into voiceover must remember this. Voiceover it's a skill, just like learning to play the guitar. But everybody that plays the guitar, the ones that are truly the best are not the guys that go, I want to sound like Eddie Van Halen, or I want to sound like Dwayne Allman, or I want to sound like Jerry Garcia, or whatever. It's not the guys that want to sound like somebody else. It's the guys that go, they're great, but this is what I do. And
I like that.
you become original because everybody's got a voice. And the key is finding those people out there that want your voice, and they're out there. And so actually going back to what you're talking about with, is it harder or whatever? When I really started to make a stride in voiceover, I was marketing the hell out of myself. In fact, I'll tell you a real quick story if we have time.
Of course, yeah.
I was doing this is before anime. And in Houston, we had a plethora of advertising agencies, probably 50 or 60 advertising agencies. Everything from an office from Ogilvy Mather and McCann Erickson and firms that you saw on Mad Men. They had offices in Houston, all the way down to Joe's Copyright Shop, which was one guy on a laptop. But I decided I was going to really make a mark in voiceover. And this would be 1995. So what I did is I got my demo tape, and this is how old it was. It was a cassette tape, not a reel, not a disc. It was a cassette tape. And on the cover, on the cover of the cassette tape was a picture of me in a cowboy hat making a funky face and going like that or something like that. And it said, he's good, he's bad, and he's ugly. He's perfect for your next voiceover.
That's what's up.
That's good.
And so I took that tape and I put it in a brown paper bag with a po' boy sandwich. There's a local place here that everybody knows called Antone's. It was an Antone's po' boy sandwich, an apple, a bag of chips, a napkin, and a little card. And it said, howdy, my name is John Swasey, and I'm a voiceover actor here in Houston, Texas. And today your lunch is on me.
Hey,
That's awesome.
For your
clean.
lunch,
That's clean.
give my demo tasty, huh?
Nice.
I hand delivered those, probably about 100 of them over the month, 100 of them. And I had like from about 10 a.m. till about, actually I started at 9 a.m. till about 11 a.m. because about 11 people are starting to make lunch plans. I couldn't do it at 2:00 in the afternoon because they lunch. So I hand delivered those, and I had 2 hours, and I hand delivered them. And some agencies got 5 of them, some agencies got 1, some agencies got 10, whatever. But I did about 600 of them.
Wow.
At the end of 1 month, I'd spent about $600 or $700, and I was waiting tables and doing all the actor gigs that actors do and whatnot. And at the end of that, I got 2 phone calls. One phone call was from an agency that said, hey, this is really great. Nice job. We love Antone sandwiches. This is very clever. And we love your tape. We don't have anything for you, but we'll keep you on file. So it was an attaboy. The second call was from an agency that said, this is really great. Well done. We love it. And we do have something for you. Could you please be at the studio next Tuesday at 9 a.m.? I showed up. I was told by my agent it was 3 TV spots and 3 radio spots for a local Texas department store in the state of Texas, and I maybe even into Louisiana or Oklahoma, Arkansas, whatever. They have stores, but they're called something else. So it turns out it was 9 TV spots and 9 radio spots. And I ended up making $6,000
Jeez.
in the span of about 3 hours.
Wow.
Now my agent got a cut. She got 15%. So there's 900 gone. But I walked out of there and I made $5,100. And people go, "You made $5,100 in 3 hours?" And I was like, "Nope. I made $5,100 in 1 month. Plus I got to deduct the 600. So it's really 4,600. But back in 1995, as a young bachelor, $4,600? Are you effing kidding me?
That's money.
A light bulb went off, and I went, screw waiting tables. I'm buying sandwiches for the rest of the damn city.
That's what's up.
That's what I did. And listen, guys, I'm not kidding you. And you can tell I've had a little too much drink because I'm gonna brag on myself because I don't like to do that. But I'm gonna tell you, within a year, I was making 6 figures.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
1996.
In 1996.
money.
Jesus. That's some real money. That's dope. That is
That is amazing.
It was,
man.
But what it taught me was the voice is important. Your instrument, y'all mentioned this early. It is your instrument. And cigars and martinis are probably not the best thing for it, which is certainly what I spent a lot of my money on. But the key, people go, I've done the training. I'm ready to go. What do I do? And I'm like, take more training and market yourself. You've got to market. Think about it, man. You're going back then, this was before anime. I'm going after clients to do things like commercials. Why do we do commercials? Everyone knows what Coca-Cola is. Everyone knows what Bud Light is. Why do they still spend money on that? Because you want to be on their minds all the time.
Yep.
Pure and simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I have actor friends of mine. And one of them was in the PC Cowboys with me.
Nice.
And he's still a guy I work with. But he's, man, they used to call me all the time. I never hear from them. When's the last time you called them? They know who I am. Do they? Because in the advertising world, people change jobs all the time. How many people do you know over there? Is Bob still there? No, dude, Bob hadn't been there in 6 months. So it really is, man. It is just like with your podcast, man. You can't just put a podcast up there and sit back and wait for the money to roll in. You've got to market it. You've got to promote it. You've got to get people to come in.
No.
Yes.
Same kind of deal.
Same deal all the way around.
That's a wonderful marketing technique, though.
Yeah,
we just got to start buying. And I said we just got to start just sending sandwiches in the mail.
Right.
No,
I
right.
mean, we'll make our money back cold over, man. Like y'all.
You know what, Joshua? I don't
whole
think
money.
that's gonna work out as well as John's idea. We can't just send it out the mail, man.
We just send out random sandwiches to people and get there like 2 weeks later. They're like, "Oh, this
Hey,
is
man,
really nice."
It's the
Yeah.
thought that counts.
Yeah.
I
That's
got
the
it.
thought that counts.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, but later, when I got married, a couple years later, I did another one. I did it often, but I did another one where I was like, I didn't want to send food. So I just was going to mail stuff. And I was like, my wife, I'm about to get married. And my soon to be wife said, get off the couch and get a job. I was like, I don't want to get off my couch. I like my couch. So I found some coins in the cushions of my couch. And I literally taped $1.50 in coins to the piece of cardboard and mailed it to these people and going, here's $1.50 I found within my couch. Go buy yourself a bag of chips and a Coke, sit on your couch and give my demo a listen.
Hey, that's
what's
cool.
up.
And I'm just telling you, and and I appreciate y'all's kind words about it, but it's not just that was clever, or that was this or that. It's like, it was just the continuity and consistency of doing it over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
I'm just a big firm believer, man. If people can sit around and hope for the best, but if you get out there, and nowhere in the Bible does it say the Lord helps those who help themselves, but the universe does say, if you do something, it is an action that will cause a reaction.
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely.
And if
Yes.
you put it out there,
Sure.
it's going to come back around one way or another.
And I know you're a big advocate for this too, John. You have to be, because you've been doing it. It only takes you can get a million bajillion no's. It only takes one yes. You know,
That's
so it's like
That's exactly right.
so that's why I love that work ethic so much, because my brother and I, these two guys, we follow that every day. Like we had a guest not too long ago, Cedric Williams. He's another voice actor. He said he did close to the same thing. Like the studios he wanted to work for, he would bake cookies for them and stuff like that. I was like, nothing. You want to do something that makes somebody think about you. I was like, you know what? This guy really wants this. Let me just listen to it and see what's going on. And then they listen to your work and it's great. And boom, there you go. Just like that.
Yeah.
It's like you said, John, it's like you want to be in their mind all the time. Just like you said, like advertising is, you want to be in their mind all the time. Hey, he got me a sandwich. He got me this. I'm going to listen to his things. The consistency.
Well,
you're right. And important too, Bud Light doesn't come on the TV and just go, hey, buy our beer. Something that's going to entertain you.
Yeah.
So you want to do something that's going to endear you to people, not just, you don't want to be annoying.
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, we think that's fantastic. If there's a way to do it, market, because we've asked a lot of people, like, how do you market yourself? I think that's definitely my favorite by far. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said, if we could right now do it like that, not mail sandwiches, but hand them out, that would be great. But we're not sending anybody any sandwiches. They might get the wrong.
All you got to do, really, I know y'all are in different parts of the country and everything, but y'all need to just have a Zoom meeting or something, just sit around and just spitball a bunch of ideas. You'll come, I guarantee you, just sitting around partying and talking with each other, even if it's over Zoom, you'll come up with something. And it'll be like, that's it. And you'll have that light bulb go up. You go, oh, that's it. Let's do that. And again, it's a tricky dance because you don't want to be annoying.
Yeah.
But also you got to remember, if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
I tell my people, they don't know you exist. The chances of them ever hiring you are zero.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. You got to put yourself out there. That's number one.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we agree with you 100% on that. Like, definitely. Thanks for that advice. We appreciate it.
Oh well.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna steal that advice. I'm putting it in my back pocket as we speak.
I will tell you this, and y'all are already doing this. The other thing is, do something you love and enjoy.
Man, yeah.
Yes.
You know what? It really is true that the money will come. Just don't worry about that. Do it because you enjoy it. My son's walking in. I'm going to have to ask him a huge favor here. Hey, Sybil, come here. Josh, can you come here when you get in? I'm going to have him go make me a drink.
I understand.
Have a young man here in my son. Josh, come here. Come here. He'll be over here. Anyway, what else we got?
Oh, go ahead, Josh. What's up, man?
But yeah, John, you were saying like you want to make sure you keep everything fresh as far as like your.
Let me interrupt you.
Pretty much.
Hey,
this is my son. Todd.
Going on, man?
Hey, Josh, what's going on, man?
What's up, dude?
He's a soccer player and an anime lover. He just got back from practice or a game. How'd you do? You win?
No, we lost.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Hey, look, Josh, you'll get him next time, man.
Yeah, next time.
Can you all edit this in post and make it look like he won?
Yeah. We'll get rid of that part and it'll be like,
we got you. We're just gonna, we're just gonna dub it, make it look like you won.
Pour a jigger of bourbon in this with a little bit of ice.
What's a jigger?
Yeah, you know what? It's the little glasses in the liquor cabinet.
Of whiskey?
Yeah. A bottle of bourbon. And try not to tell you. All right.
but yeah, John, you were talking about how you wanted to make sure like you keep everything just interesting, especially like when you're trying to do advertisements for commercials. Is there any kind of way how they want you to sound in these particular commercials? Much like they might want you to sound dubbing anime, or you just take the line and
Yeah, that's a really good question. The main thing about voiceover, and this is what I was getting at earlier, and I didn't quite finish that point about, you have your voice and nobody else in the world sounds like you. And that's your strength. That's your greatest quality. Again, it's not like I want to sound like Eddie Van Halen playing guitars. No, I'm going to sound like me. And the same is true with voiceover. You want to sound just like you. Don't let anybody, don't go in there and go, I can do a great blah, 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 or a great Homer Simpson or whatever. Dude, they've already got that guy. You need to bring what you can bring to the table. So when it comes to even commercials or even anime, don't try to be, thank you, son. Don't try to be, oh, see, I just got a text from my wife. Don't try to be something other than you're not. Just be yourself. It's on the creative side, or it's just, you want to, with commercials, they're not looking for that drink Diet Coke. It's not that big booming voice. They want you just to be very real and very natural, not announcery. But the same is true with even in anime. Sometimes I get people that come in there, and usually the less experienced actors, and they'll come in and they'll go, hello, we're going to go up here and do this. And it's whoa. Just everything you're doing sounds the same. Just speak, talk. We don't speak that way. Just say it how you would say it. And so that's really the most important thing, is just having more of a natural sound, whether you're doing commercials or industrials or anime or whatever, especially with things like commercials and industrials. I think one of the most important things to remember is, even if you're doing a commercial that's going to probably play to 100,000 people, you've got to remember that really you're speaking to one person. I'm speaking to you right now. So when I say, hey man, you know what? The Swasey Summer Shindig's a lot of fun. You got to come check it out. It's not the Swasey Summer Shindig. Now, there are some spots like that, but for the most part, when you want to be natural, it's just, you're talking to one person. I'm just talking to you. I'm not talking to anybody else. Like you're having a cup of coffee or a beer or something over a table or at the bar. You're just talking to one person. And when you can do that and you make that connection, then it becomes very powerful and very effective. That makes sense?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
That's a lot of sense.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
And you've been definitely giving us a lot of good nuggets tonight. I kind of wanted to ask you, how long have you been teaching? And I wanted you to talk about your like VO classes and things like that.
So I started teaching probably back in about early 2000s. I didn't want to teach for a long time, even though I was very fortunate and had gained a reputation as being the man and the dude or whatever. And I didn't want to teach because I was like, it's voiceover, dude. It's not rocket science. It's voiceover. What do you want to know? And I don't really want to teach you something that I'm trying to do, because I don't want you to come do it instead.
There you go, right.
But what I did find out was that a lot of people, most of the people, like 90% of the people, would get into it because they thought they wanted to, and they didn't realize that it's marketing. It's a business.
True.
It's like any other business. Don't become a voice actor and then sit back on your back deck and wait for the phone to ring. You can, but you're going to wait for a long time. And it's because it's a business. And if you don't treat it like a business, you're never going to go anywhere. And a lot of people that realized that were like, this isn't for me. I'm going back to roofing or whatever. But anyway, so I started teaching, and then I bopped around different studios, working with different people. And then I reached a point where I was like, I'm tired of teaching. I don't really like to do it because the people I'm doing it for, I felt like they need me to do the work for them. And it's not, I'll take $75 an hour or $100 an hour every day. But there does come a point, this is going to be brutal. I don't want to do this. I don't care how much it pays. I don't want to have to sit here for an hour and listen to this person and then who's not getting any better over the 6 weeks we've been working, because I don't care. Right. They just, dude, it's like learning to play the guitar. I know I may have mentioned that earlier, but with Eddie Van Halen, but I can show you the chords. I can show you scales. I can even teach you a couple of real simple songs. But at the end of the day, if you don't go home and practice,
you're not going to get any better.
It ain't going to work. I cannot make your fingers do what they need to do. Only you can do that. So then I started doing like privates, and I still do privates every now and then. But of course, with Corona, it got a little more difficult because I would do some on Zoom. But man, if you want to do a private, you got to come into the studio. You got to put the headphones on. You got to get the environment. You got to feel what it's like to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to just do it just to take somebody's money. I got better things to do, and I just didn't want to do that. But I will say this, on my website, I created a series of videos that if you go to johnswasey.actor, it's a series of videos. I think it's $25, but it tells you everything you need to know in a class that I would teach as a private for $250. The only downside is it's not interactive. It's just videos. Yeah. But you can go check that out and find it. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to marketing. Take classes, take more classes, and then 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 market. So
okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And we'll put all that in the description below too. We'll definitely let people know about your classes on your website.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But
and another
yeah, not to cut you off, Chad, but yeah, John, how important is having a website? And not only that, but how would one go about creating a website? Because you have johnswasey.actor. What's the process of being able to have a domain to be able to post your videos and your roles on?
In my case, I have a friend who is an illustrator and a graphic designer and whatnot, and created websites, and I paid him to create a website for me. And we found the domain johnswasey.actor, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's perfect. For a long time, it's like, if you didn't get .com, it was no good. Do .net, or you could do .dev. It was like .actor. Well, that's perfect. The other thing that I really wanted is I wanted my name on it. I didn't want it to be the John Swasey or voice actor John Swasey or the actor known as John Swasey. I just wanted it to be John Swasey. Just very simple. And one of the reasons is that it seems to me, man, that the days of people surfing the web and discovering websites and drilling down through websites, that's long gone, dude. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your burning wheel of fire. I need contact information. I need a demo, and that's it. I've got a little bit more info because you can go on my website and buy prints and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, if somebody want to get into voiceover, it's, look, dude, you need one page. It has your picture on it, has your contact info, and it has one button that says demo. That's really all you need. And those are easy to get. You can do them. There's all things like Wix and stuff like that. You can do it, but you can probably find somebody, then you get somebody like GoDaddy to host it and just have somebody design a very simple website and put your demo up there. But the importance of a website is, like I said, I used to hand out those sandwiches with my cassette tape. And then I started out stuff with CDs. That was very cool. And then I started handing out stuff then I was like, maybe I could start doing little thumb drives. And then I started I could just email them. Well, the problem with email though, especially, is all these companies have firewalls, man. And if they don't know you, they're not going to accept you. You're going to go to their spam folder.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I just said, how about if I'm going to email somebody, how about I just email them a link? Or even if it's not an email, if I send out a postcard, I'll just send them a link to my website where they can then go listen to my demo at their leisure. And they may not even listen to it. I got into the thing of sending out postcards after a while, and people go, how many postcards do you send out? I was like, I don't know, about 500-600 a year. And they're like, what kind of return do you get? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm making a living. I haven't really broken down the numbers, but really what I tell people is this is what you do. And this is, I think, a surefire way to succeed. You study, take classes, then you make a demo, you make a website, you put your demo on your website. Then the whole thing becomes a function of marketing. Although you should continue to take classes even as you're doing the marketing, because the classes are only going to make you better. But what you do is you send out 10 postcards a day. 10, easy breezy. Doesn't cost you that much.
Sure.
Postage is minimal. You're talking less than $10, maybe, even with you consider the ink and all that stuff. You send out 10 postcards a day. That's 50 a week. In 6 weeks, you've sent out 300 postcards. That's a lot of postcards. And the way you send out the postcard is you get online, get your favorite beverage, and you sit down and you're like, if you're in the Atlanta, you type in Google Atlanta advertising agencies. Now I'm talking about for commercials. I'm not forget anime and dubbing, but you can include that. But let's just talk about commercial and industrial narration and safety videos, and because that's where the money really is.
I never thought about safety videos too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Or how to I got a video I got to talk about dumbbells, a thrilling piece of equipment. One video is going to take me 10 minutes to do. One video is going to take me about 45 minutes to do, but both of them pay $800.
Wow.
So within an hour, I'll make $1,600.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's money.
Great.
What you do is you go online and you look up advertising agencies in Atlanta, Georgia, and you will get a ton of them. Or just forget Atlanta, just hit Georgia. You'll get more advertising agencies than you know what to do with. Expand that to South Carolina, to Mississippi, to Alabama, whatever. And then you go to each website and you search through the website and you find out, do they do anything requiring audio? If so, who are the people that you would need to contact? If so, how many people? If so, what's their address? You put all that into a database. You may hit 2 agencies and there's your 10 postcards for the day. But you do 10 postcards a day, 50 a week, and in 6 weeks, you've done 300 postcards. At the end of that 6 weeks, you start again with a new 600. But you then also send a new postcard to the original 300, excuse me. And you just keep sending stuff. So basically, every 6 weeks, 300 to 600 people are going to get your postcard that says, hey, I'm a voice actor and I'm here. So whatever you put on it is, what you've got to decide. But it's that keeping you on their mind all the time. May take you a year before you get any feedback. May take you a year before you get a nibble. It's like fishing. But you may get a lot of no's, just like I did with those sandwiches. I got one yes that turned into a big fish.
I like that.
And and true story, man, that agency that hired me for that one gig that I made the $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever, that agency was responsible for making me over $100,000 in 2 years, not 100,000 over 2 years, 100,000 this year, over 100,000 next year. And it was because I landed accounts with that agency because I became known as this go-to guy. And it was because I just marketed myself. I was just in there. I wasn't in their face in a bad way. I was in there, hey, man. And I'd take them to lunch every now and then. And just, you got to work it, man. It's a relationship deal. And once you get yourself into it, you got to work to make it happen, man.
So that's a real big fish, man. Like, you made it happen.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah. That's definitely good stuff. And like I said, we can appreciate that here because that's how you got to do things. I'm the same way with when I apply for jobs. I'm the same way when I try to get a guest for the podcast. I'm just always trying to see. I have a lot of people that I'm interested in talking to, but I'm just always trying to see who I can talk to next. Just reaching out, being polite, being friendly. It definitely works. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry. I just had to flip my phone so I could plug it in. It was about to die.
Oh, no, you're good.
Yeah, that's good.
No, you're good. No, definitely. But I wanted to ask you because it seems because you have a long list of characters that you portray, and it definitely seems like you play a lot of the bad guys. Like you got like Hohenheim from Full Metal, and then more recently you have All for One, like from My Hero Academia. So how long did it take you to get like a character type?
I do play a lot of bad guys. I play a lot of dads and a lot of bad guys. Sometimes I play a lot of bad dads.
Bad dads, definitely. That's the thing, but
yeah. He goes, I've been typecast. I'm a bad dad.
Oh, wow. So your own son.
Yeah,
man.
right. Love you too, buddy.
I like Josh already.
Right.
Yeah, he's a good kid, man. It's just one of those things. I've never had that male ingenue voice. I've never had the Vic Mignogna or the Todd Habercorn or just that young Chris Patton or whatever. Just come on, guys, let's go. I've just never.
Right.
It's always been a lot rougher and a lot deeper. Now I've been able to do things like more character-y stuff, but yeah. So I just fell into it, man. And it's, as they say, I'd rather be typecast than not cast. But I was actually doing a little deal yesterday, as a matter of fact, and they were talking specifically about a movie I did called The Boy and the Beast, and it's one of my most not famous. That's not what I meant to say. It's one of my most favorite roles.
That's awesome.
And it not only because I love the story, but it falls into the wheelhouse of where my vocal range is. That sort of, all right, now listen, this is what we're going to do. It's just, that's comfortable for me to do. I'm not straining myself. And the same with Hohenheim, the same with All for One, Gendo and Evangelion. It's the same kind of thing. I feel like that's a very comfortable range. And I got into the game a little later than a lot of these other actors. I was in my 30s when I started doing this. I'm 57 now. I've been doing this a long time, but I was in my 30s. So I didn't even start out with that young 22-year-old or whatever voice. I just kind of got pushed off into this, oh, you can do this and you can be this big guy and all this kind of thing. So it's worked out. I'm not complaining at all.
So you started off with the I'm paying bills type of voice, like that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You want me to do what? I'll do it.
Right.
Right. Where's the money at? Where's the money at, man? I'll do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's a lot of good stuff. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting about you, John, and that's one of the last things we'll touch on before we let you go. But I really like what you and a lot of the like anime guys are doing with your book. I wanted to talk about the Jungle Burgh children's reading community.
Yay! Actually, funny enough, my friend Mike Vance, who's a PC Cowboy, he and I did the PC Cowboys together.
Hey, there it goes.
I came up with this idea for a children's book about 4 years ago, and I got him involved, and we wrote it and decided we wanted to come up with a whole series of books. And it's something I must tell you, man, I am so proud of this book. We wrote this story, and it's about a spider monkey named Zeke, who swings through the jungle, and he keeps swinging into things. Like he runs into Mrs. Vanderhoosen, the first lady of Jungle Burgh, which is like a little community. He swings through the wig shop, and he comes out with a wig on his head and all this. He swings into the ice cream man and gets covered in tutti frutti. His mom realizes that maybe you need to have your eyes checked. Zeke is frightened to go to the eye doctor because it's the eye doctor. He's never been. But she convinces him to go, and he goes, and he meets some new friends that also have some eye issues. And he goes into the doctor, and he gets behind the phoropter and gets his eyes checked out and gets his glasses, and now he can see fine and everything is good. And so the stories deal with things that kids find to be maybe somewhat of a hurdle or a mountain, if you will. To adults, we're like, dude, it's glasses, get over it.
Right.
But to the kid, it's monumental.
For sure.
And so that's what the stories deal with. For instance, the next book is about a squirrel who's afraid of heights. And the idea is that it's okay to be afraid of heights. It's not about get over your fear of heights, but it is about how are you going to work around it? How are you going to make life go on, even though you've got a fear of heights? And the squirrel, I won't give it away, but the squirrel doesn't. And so Jungle Burgh is, I mentioned this earlier. I don't know if it was in the podcast or in our pre-show stuff, but Jungle Burgh is like the dead community. It's like an anime festival. It's people that are all there. It's inclusive. It's diverse. It's loving. Everybody's there for each other. And it's in a utopian world. It's not a utopian world like 1984 where everyone walks around like a drone.
Right.
It's just,
I would hope not.
It's guys, man, just think about the other guy. Work for that guy. Help that guy. Let's help each other, not ourselves. And if we all do that, again, just like I said with the universe, it goes out, it'll come around. Somebody's going to help you. You're going to be fine. So anyway, it's something I'm very proud of. The artwork was all done by Blake Shepard, who's
we know about him.
That is amazing. Yeah.
He created my website, as a matter of fact. So if you want a website, look like that.
Wow. That's pretty
cool. Where to go now.
And he did everything is hand painted. It's glorious art. You can go to www.jungleburgh.com. And you can buy the book. You can buy the downloadable version, and you can buy an audio version. And what we did with the audio, instead of just being narrated by me, which obviously would have been awesome, we had it acted out by a bunch of voice actors. So Lucy Christian is in it, Patricia Duran is in it, Jay Hickman is in it, Blake Shepard actually plays Zeke the spider monkey.
Oh wow, that's cool.
It's so much fun. And I mentioned this earlier, find something you really love to do and do it. And that's what this is for me. I'm loving it. The other day, we have a little place around the corner from our house, this little parking lot, and this pop-up coffee truck pulls up every Saturday morning. And I spoke to the people that own the lot. I said, can I set up my table and sell my children's book? And they were like, yeah, that'd be great. So I went over there, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it every Saturday, man. I'm just going to get up at 8 a.m. and go over there and set up my little booth, and people that come up to get coffee, I'm going to go, have you gotten a children's book? And they're like, that's awesome, dude. You live in the neighborhood? I'm like, yeah, I live here. It's my first book. It's awesome. It's so much fun, man. I love Lug. Thank you so much for bringing that up, man. That is that is so right here for me. And I'm all, I love talking about it, and I'm so proud of it. And like I said, I really love the message it sends out. I love the spirit it's in. I love everything about it. I just need people to buy about 500,000 of them. That's all I need.
And look, that's why we're here. We will definitely put it in the description below. 100%.
For sure.
Yeah, there you go.
But
I'll help you out.
yeah, John, we think that's great. That's why I wanted to talk about it. We love positivity, like educational material, especially for children. That's amazing. And the fact that it's all in-house and that you guys just came together and just did something positive, that's the bee's knees, man. So that we definitely had to talk about it.
I'll say one more thing about it, and that is this: the world we live in is obviously so dominated by technology, and if it's a bright and shiny thing, everybody's looking for that.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, and this is where in the pandemic this has hurt us, we need that human interaction. We need that touch. We need that embrace. And there is nothing that can replace a young 5 or 6 year old holding on to a book and reading it and flipping the pages. Even better, sitting in granddad or uncle's lap or daddy's lap or whatever, and reading that book with them. That's just, brother, I don't care how good a movie it is. That is something you will never be able to replace. And to me, what's important is that's the foundation. That's where it starts. If you don't have that, man, you're lost, because that's where it's not just the reading, it's the establishing that relationship and that connection.
Exactly. No, I know what you mean 100%.
Yeah. That's kind of where I came up with the whole idea. It's not like, what's the coolest thing I can come up with that kids are going to want to buy? I don't want that. What I want, I'm going back old school, man. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Let's go back to this, because let's not forget this, man. Because if it weren't for this, we wouldn't have this.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, go ahead, Marcus.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, because that's a big part. Like when I was growing up, I loved reading books with my mom and my dad and my brother. Like every night before we go to bed, I get to pick my book. I get to read, and like even John, when you was just telling like the like synopsis of the book and how you told it, I was sitting here like a 5-year-old kid again. Like I literally can close my eyes and just hear it and see it in my head the way you was telling it.
Send me your address. Send me your address, and I'll send you some copies.
Yes, awesome.
Yes, for sure.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. John. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I got a little niece too, so she'll love that. She in her little reading stage now.
There you go, man.
Awesome.
You're gonna be her favorite uncle.
But yeah, John, another thing about books and technology, it's just nothing like the sitting down and picking up an actual book, because ebooks are nice, but it just doesn't feel the same.
No.
Right. That's exactly, dude, Josh, you're exactly right, man. That is so on the money. It's that flipping the pages. And I get it. The kids, they're all this, and my son walks around with his device and all that, but they still all learned nothing else. They learned on a book. They started on a book. So
Yeah.
Again, it's about
Exactly.
connection.
Like that like new book smell too. Like to open up a new
Right.
book and that
Yeah.
smell. Like there's nothing
Right.
better than that.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree. And some of these guys, like some of my fondest memories are like the old Curious George, Little Critter books,
Yes.
Berenstain Bears. So just bringing that back, like I said, I applaud you for that. That's amazing. And we support you
thank you.
100%.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Oh,
I appreciate that, fellas.
Oh, you were definitely welcome. And
Oh,
look,
yeah.
John, it has been a pleasure having you on tonight.
Yeah.
Like we really, this has been awesome. We really enjoyed it.
Guys, from your mouth to God's ear, y'all have been absolutely outstanding, and I have enjoyed every last second of this. This has been so much fun. The only thing I regret is I've got to go now face my wife, who just sent me a text going, "You made your son make you a drink."
Oh no.
So,
Oh,
I'm not sure, but hang on. That might be my bed this evening. I'm not sure.
Oh, man.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's all right. I got cold beer in the
man.
fridge.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, John, before you go, man, we want you to let all our viewers and listeners know. You've already told us some of it. Let them know like where they can find you, your social media, about your classes, your books, all that good stuff. Just let them know before we
Sure.
head
Well,
out.
thank you for that, man. Yeah. So come by, check out the main thing is come out and check out our book. It's a www.jungleburgh.com, and it's great. You can find us on Facebook at Jungle Burgh, Twitter at Jungle Burgh. I will tell you right now, I'm terrible with social media, but you can friend me on Facebook, friend me on Twitter, and even Instagram. But again, I'm terrible about it. I'm not a very good, but I'm trying to get better. Anyway, the main thing is to reach out, but come out, check us out. And if you have any questions, I will tell you this, I'm a very, very accessible person. A lot of people, I think one thing on my website, even at johnswasey.actor, I think my phone number's on there. People are like, why would you put your phone number on there? I'm like, dude, they can find your phone number. It's not hard.
Right.
So what difference does it make? And I've had people text me or message me and they ask me questions, and I'm more than happy to answer anybody's question. I may not be able to help them, but I'm certainly happy to at least take a look at it. I'm not so private that I'm like, don't quit bothering me. But I'm like I said from the very beginning, man, I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate and very humbled to be a part of such a wonderful community that you guys are a part of. And I'm thrilled about this. I wouldn't change anything. I just thank you guys and for all y'all do and for all you do, the fans and everything that y'all do. And just thank you so much, because you've made my life a very wonderful thing. And I thank you all for that.
That's so awesome. You are 100% welcome.
100% welcome.
Definitely.
Yes,
For sure.
Yeah, so definitely, guys, we're going to put all of John's information in the description below. So yeah, guys, just like every week, guess what time it is?
Shameless
Shameless
promotion.
Yes. So it is the shameless promotion. So yes, guys, we are the Square Roundtable Podcast. You can catch us every Friday on majorzonmusic.com at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Central time, and 1 p.m. Eastern time.
And you can catch us on YouTube at any time on Friday. And if you like the video, smack that like button, share the video, comment about anything that went on in the video. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and our Facebook group. We really need people in that Facebook group. Like, I'm not even playing. Like we need y'all. Like, help us
Please
out.
talk to us.
Holla at us.
Yeah, give us a little, show us some support.
So all of that good stuff. And yeah, man, before we head out, I would love for everybody to introduce themselves one more time. And I am your host, Chad Singleton.
Dmitri.
Josh Singleton.
Marcus.
I'm John Swasey.
And this has been the Square Roundtable, guys. Thank you for being with us tonight. We are out.
We are out.
Peace.
Peace.